calling by coaches. I don't know who's injured, who's healthy. I think in our business, it's too many hosts are overwrought ripping play calling. There's a lot more that goes into a game than just a single play. But it was tied at 20. You're deep in your own territory. Your quarterback just got his head banged into, and he's not playing well. Your run game's kind of effective. Houston has 3 timeouts. Force Houston to use them because there's not much time left. And yet Buffalo only burned 16 seconds because they passed it 3 straight times. That is unforgivable. And that's on the heels a couple of weeks ago from that zany, weird trick play against the Ravens that just muted all your momentum. I don't think you'd have won that game anyway, but it was a weird call that McDermott had to address. So it just doesn't make sense. Like there are certain things in football when there's 35 seconds in a game, it's 20-20, you're on the road, you are kind of effectively running the ball, your quarterback just got hurt and he's having his worst game as a pro, and you didn't even have your best slot receiver available. So it was just a terrible day for Josh Allen. And you're going to ask him deep in the territory on the road to fling it up the field 3 times? Therefore, Houston gets it back, doesn't have to move it much, gets a field goal and wins the game. Coaching lost that game. And again, Buffalo is way too noisy when it comes to coaching, game management, and coordinators. The Dorsey blow up, the goofy trick play. It's way too noisy. And again, Josh got hurt, didn't have a slot receiver. You just run the ball. Texans take 3 timeouts. Maybe you lose the game in overtime. I get it. You can't lose like that. There are losses that you're like, hey, chalk it up to a bad call, chalk it up to a bad day, the weather. That is totally on the head coach. Here's Sean McDermott after.
That's on me. The end of game situation on offense. They were on 3 timeouts. I got a good field goal kicker. We needed to run the clock and move the chains, and that's on me. We didn't do that there, and that's my fault. I love Josh with the ball in his hands. I do. And again, efficient offense was the right approach there. And
listen, Andy Reid in crisis feels like a life preserver for the Chiefs. Sean McDermott in crisis is starting to feel like a kettlebell for the Bills. He is pulling them down. And those losses the last couple of weeks are to teams that you'll probably have an opportunity to play in the postseason, and you're giving home field up. And Buffalo is one of the great home field advantages due to weather and their crowd noise in the league. So you're just giving up home field advantage. Nobody wants to go to Buffalo in January. Nobody wants to go to Buffalo. I mean, forget Josh Allen. If you're a good team and you're a better roster, you don't want to go up to Buffalo. Outdoors, that crowd, Josh Allen, that weather. You're just giving up home field advantage. Brutal. I don't even get it. I don't even understand it. You ever have something in your life happen and you're like, did I miss something? What am I not getting? So I go online and people are freaking out and I'm like, okay, all right. Just so I'm not crazy. They're doing something here that is unforgivable as a head coach. J-Mac 24-23. I had said before the season I worried about San Francisco. J-Mac is my witness. I said I think they've peaked. They're getting very old. They're getting very reliant on Christian McCaffrey. I did not like all the money talk and the noise in the offseason. That creates some animosity. There are reports this morning from a reporter, Mike Silver, that there's a weird vibe in the locker room. And this morning, here's what we know about the Niners. They've beaten the Jets and the Patriots, and their defense, the names are bigger than production. It's just not that intimidating. Windows close because of the regulated level of violence very quickly in the NFL. Players get old fast. The only thing that lasts a long time in this league is the great coach, great quarterback combination. Walsh and Montana, Belichick and Brady, Reed and Mahomes. You get the right coach and the right quarterback, that puppy can last a long time. But does this sound like it lasts a long time? Super physical team that's solid at quarterback. Now, I know what you're saying. Brock Purdy's more than that. Folks, Brock Purdy in his career now, it's been established. When he leads, bit of a front runner. 131 quarterback rating. In his career, when Brock Purdy trails in the fourth quarter, his passer rating is 62. He is good when he's comfortable. He's good with a lead. He's not good trailing. Here comes the house, and everybody knows you've got to throw it. And that is the difference between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy. If you know he's throwing, he's not anything other than ordinary. The roster's physical, but when you watch that game, it was Arizona that was spry and dynamic and twitchy and had young stars, McBride and Kyler and Harrison on offense. That's what it looked like to me. I just don't see and I don't feel the magic with the Niners, and maybe it's just this. Christian McCaffrey's the magic. About 3 or 4 times a game, he turns a 3 to 4 yard gain into a 24-yard gain. Kyle Shanahan's record without him is a losing record. And I like Kyle, but I don't see the special. They blew another fourth quarter lead. They've become a terrible red zone offense. Last year, they were the #1 red zone offense. Now, they're one of the worst. 22 trips, 9 touchdowns. What's missing? Christian McCaffrey. That's it. Same O-line, Debo, Kittle, Kyle, same names on defense. Why are they so bad in the red zone? The magic was Christian McCaffrey. I had said they're getting too Christian McCaffrey reliant, and the numbers bear it out. Kyle Shanahan on blowing another game they had won.
Extremely frustrated. I think we had 13 points and 17 in the other. By no means should we be able to give that away. Always will come back to turnovers, in my opinion. There's other things you can do to overcome them. Talked about last night how we thought a key in this game would be turnovers, and that's exactly what the first half was. Gave us a huge advantage, and then it flipped in the second half, and when you do that, it's tough to win.
Listen, Belichick, Andy Reid, they'll all tell you the quarterback is more valuable than the coach. But there are these rare instances, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Christian McCaffrey. They may not be quarterbacks, but they drive the operation. And without Christian, they get into these situations in the red zone where he would turn a 3-yard gain into a clever 7-yard gain and a touchdown. I mean, that game, Kyler Murray threw a pick to Bosa. Block kicks. It was there for the taking. Just like the Steelers. It was there for the taking. And they couldn't do it. It was Arizona with a more dynamic, younger, athletic offense making plays. Here's J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Can I just defend Purdy for a quick second? 49ers scored 23 points in the first half. Didn't punt in the second half and lost. I don't think you could pin it on Purdy or Shanahan. Their kicker got hurt, Colin. So they had a turnover on downs when it was 4th and 20. They're like, we can't kick. Let's just throw 15 yards to Kittle. They had the unlucky Mason fumble. Like, it was just, that was a wacky game, right? I mean, you don't think there's major problems?
When Tom Brady would get a block kick for a touchdown and a defensive lineman intercepting the ball, he wouldn't complain about his kicker. That game at home, Arizona, off a blowout, better roster. Why can we only, when it's convenient, compliment Purdy? They needed, because I'm watching Kyler make crazy plays. His special teams screwed him over, making crazy plays. You got to be able to win those games.
4th and 5, he made the jump ball off his back foot to Harrison.
No, he's
to save the game.
I know people don't like.
That was a nice play.
No, I mean,
had a good game.
I mean, listen, he's 5'9". He can do only so much from the pocket. Oh no, he's a crazy athlete.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I see where we're going here. It's a Purdy Jets show. Okay, I like it. Let's start with Texans receiver Stephon Diggs. He got the last laugh in a revenge game against the Bills. They actually got lucky to survive that game, which was a crazy game. Diggs and the Bills quarterback Josh Allen downplayed the storylines around the separation of those two. After the game, Diggs said this one meant something to him.
Obviously, playing my old team,